The Hamas-run government media office in Gaza says more than 13,000 Palestinians have been killed in the territory since October 7th. That's when Hamas launched its terror attacks on Israel, killing more than 1,200 people. Well, there is growing concern about the rise of anti-Semitism across the world since the war in the Middle East began. A small group of neo-Nazis protested in Madison over the weekend.
Joining us now is Professor Chad Goldberg, who specializes in social theory and comparative historical sociology. Welcome. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, can you give us some historical perspective of anti-Semitism?
Sure. Yeah, I would begin by saying that there's no question that levels of anti-Semitism have been rising in the past decade or so. I would say that has started around 2014 when there was a previous flare-up in the conflict in the Middle East. And it rose dramatically under the presidency of Donald Trump. And has continued to climb. We know that from two sources, really, from the Anti-Defamation League, which has collected data on anti-Semitic incidents since the late 1970s, and also the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which collects data on hate crimes, including hate crimes that are directed against Jews. And those two sources of data show similar patterns. Anti-Semitism, after declining for a period of time, began rising in around 2014 and has reached record-breaking levels. I would say that Wisconsin is not an exception to those larger patterns. We know about levels of anti-Semitism in Wisconsin, in part thanks to the Milwaukee Jewish Community Relations Council, which collects data on anti-Semitic incidents in our state. And the Milwaukee Jewish Community Relations Council has reported that anti-Semitic incidents in Wisconsin have reached record high levels in recent years. So we're seeing very similar patterns in our state as we see nationwide. And I would say that we're seeing increases in anti-Semitism really around the world. So levels were already high. And since the Hamas terrorist attacks on Israelis on October 7th, we've seen an even sharper rise. So the Anti-Defamation League has reported that since October 7th, we have seen nationwide nearly 5 times as many anti-Semitic incidents as we did in the comparable period last year. So this is really telling us something about how serious this problem is.
Professor, is there anything that could be done to counter this movement?
Yes, I think so. I think the Biden administration earlier this year released what was the first ever U.S. national strategy to combat anti-Semitism. There's a number of very good suggestions and ideas in that document. The administration has been working to implement some of those things. I was very pleased to see the reaction from the governor, Tony Evers, from other political officials, from U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, from the mayor of Madison, Satya Rhodes Conway, and many others to the neo-Nazi march in Madison last Saturday. That kind of condemnation, very swift, very decisive, and very vocal condemnation, I think is quite important, so as not to normalize this kind of thing, to remind us all that what we saw last Saturday in Madison is not normal, and it's not welcome, and it's not part of the political mainstream, or at least shouldn't be. That kind of reaction is, I think, very important in strengthening and reaffirming the public consensus around these values.
Yes, stand together, absolutely. Professor, thanks for being with us today. Wish we had more time to talk, but it's an important topic. We'll check back. Thank you.
Thank you.